Welcome to this episode of Healthy and Happy. I am Waveney Martin-Burrow, and our topic, Enhance Your Brain Power, Fight Alzheimer's. Our presenter, Dr. George Guthrie.
Once upon a time, two women went to court because they claimed the same baby. They appeared before the judge, King Solomon. And in his wisdom, he said, bring a sword, divide the baby. You take half and the other one take half. One mother said, no, let her have it. The other said, divide it. It will be neither hers nor mine. Solomon was able to say, that's the true mother. He did that because he had great brain power. And so, Doc, every day we have to make decisions, and some of them, like it is in your field, need a lot of brain power.
That's true.
Tell us a little more about the brain.
Brain is amazing. There's so much stuff packed in there, so much computing power. It's quite amazing. 100 billion cells, each of them with anywhere from 1,000 to hundreds of thousands of connections, each interacting in ways that we're still trying to understand. It is an amazing organ.
Yes, and when we look at it, we are reminded of what David says, that we are fearfully and wonderfully made.
We really are, yeah.
So our challenge is to care for the brain. And that's what we'd like to spend the time on, the different ways that we can care for our brain so that we can we may not get to Solomon's brain power, but tell us one step that we could take.
Well, one of the things that's really good for strengthening, probably the strongest for strengthening at least the number of brain cells, is physical exercise. There's a little hormone that's released that helps the brain build new brain cells and connections. That tends to happen in something we call the hippocampus, kind of down low. It's where memory is, kind of starts and is managed from there. So those new cells can be made. That's encouraging. We can get new brain cells. We used to think that we had a set when we started and we used them up and lost them.
Is this true? I'm told that this hippocampus, that is one of the first areas that experience damage with patients with Alzheimer's?
With Alzheimer's and type of dementia, there is a shrinking. It can actually be seen on imaging of the hippocampus. That's correct.
So physical exercise can help to delay the onset of Alzheimer's.
One of the best things you can do.
Okay, so physical activity. What's number two?
Well, the second one I would put on here is nutrition. And there are several things that become prominent in our understanding of how nutrition affects the brain. One of those is in serotonin. Maybe you've heard of this as the happy hormone. The antidepressant medicines tend to increase the amount of serotonin in the brain. Serotonin is made from an amino acid called tryptophan, which needs to go into the brain and then get changed into the serotonin. So it's good if our foods have plenty of this tryptophan. Because the tryptophan has to compete with other amino acids or proteins, building blocks, it's important to have foods that have a high amount of tryptophan compared to others. And the best,
what are some examples?
Well, the best foods end up being the beans. And if I remember correctly from what I've read, the black-eyed peas are some of the very best.
Is that right?
Now, another one of the things that's helpful for the brain is the omega-3 oils. And you've probably heard of those in things like walnuts and flaxseed and even fish.
Okay. Do we have another activity?
Well, brain activity can be helpful. You can put your brain to work learning new things. So that could be playing games. That could be word games or something like Sudoku. Or you can even teach yourself a new skill. You know, brush your teeth with the opposite hand. And your brain has to learn something, right? It doesn't have to all be kind of head memory learning textbook type work. It can
Okay.
actually be just teaching yourself something physically.
Like playing a new instrument,
Sure.
learning a new
Sure.
language.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when I turned 55, I said I'm going to learn the guitar. It's part of my Alzheimer's prevention program.
It reminds me, some time ago, I met Dr. H.M.S. Richards Sr., who was the founder of the Voice of Prophecy radio program. He was then in his 80s. And he told us that he was then reading. He said, always read a difficult book. And he said, I'm now reading the 1,200-page Bible dictionary.
Wow.
Now, whoever hear of reading a dictionary? But
That's the way he was doing it.
Cognitive activity.
Keep your brain active. I agree.
Okay. Any other key?
Next one is social connectedness.
Okay.
And having people who we interact with on a regular basis ends up being really important for our brain health. We're social creatures. Without that, there's loneliness and shrinking in the brain. We need that interaction.
Okay. Does spirituality come into play? Is that a key?
Well, yes. As we think about kind of big things, eternal things, especially if we can find rest and peace for the stress of the stress hormones of life tend to wear on the brain. So as we can find that kind of peace and calmness in our meditating on spiritual things, studying the Bible, as you mentioned, we strengthen ourselves. And that's an excellent thing to do.
So, Doc, you have shared 5 keys with us. Physical activity, cognitive, mental activity, nutritional activity, the food we eat, social, and the spiritual. And if we do participate in these, then we can extend our life, extend our health, and increase our brain power.
Sounds right to me.
Okay, thank you so much.
These are excellent strategies. Be sure to view part 2 of this episode.